Hi, it's James here from JL Fitness Solutions, and in this video I'm going to show you some mobility tips for your spine and for your hips when it comes to focusing on improving your running technique. Now, having good ability to rotate, flex and extend through the spine and the ability to fully extend the hip and a full active range of movement is really important when it comes to running, as we want to be able to maximise our energy transfer from one step to the next in order to maximise our running efficiency. If we're lacking any range of movement or strength through any of the joints, in fact from the feet all the way up through to the shoulders, it will impact our running negatively, as will being weak through any of those positions. So I'm just going to run through a few of my top exercises for you. I'm going to start with the spine and then we're going to come down into the hip, okay? So we're going to start with our thoracic spine. So from an extension point of view, one of my top exercises for this is to drop into this kneeling position here where we have our hips above our knees. We're then going to push our hands out as far away from us as possible, keeping the hips above the knees. From there we're then going to push our chest towards the floor, and we should feel a stretch. We might feel it through here if we're tight in the shoulder, but we should also feel it towards the upper third of our back through our thoracic spine. So we're just going to push down through here, breathing out as we extend into our stretch. Take 5 or 10 deep breaths here. We're then going to point our thumbs up to the ceiling, and we're going to rock left and right just to increase a little bit of stretch through the shoulder. Again, 5 or 10 times a day until it feels quite nice and smooth. Once you've done that, we're going to move down the spine a little bit more into flexion and extension. We're going to sit back on our heels, so we're going to take the lower spine out of the equation, and we're going to plant our hands firmly on the floor in front of us. From there, we're then going to really round our shoulders forward, so we're arching up through the upper back. And we're going to really push the chest out, nice proud chest, head comes up, really extending again. Okay, so same through here, 5 to 10 reps, nice and smoothly. Once we've done our 5 to 10 here, we're then going to come forwards and place the hands underneath the shoulders. We're going to keep the knees underneath the hips, and we're going to aim to start tilting from the pelvis, so we're going to tuck our pelvis under, and then we're going to pull our belly button up towards the roof, and then we're going to really round the shoulders off, bringing our chin down to our chest. From here we're then going to push the shoulders through, so push the chest out, head comes up, belly button goes down to floor, and then we untuck the hips into that really big extension point. And then same again, tuck then the hips, come right up. And as you get more comfortable, we can just flow through here. Again, 5, 10, 15 times until it feels nice and comfortable. Now moving into the lateral flexion and extension, a really easy way of doing this is just taking our hips, and we're going to bring our left hip to our left shoulder and our right hip to our right shoulder. This is quite, essentially we're kind of wagging our tail, but in more real terms we're getting lateral flexion through the spine. Okay. Moving on to thoracic rotation, again because our run is a very rotational contralateral movement, meaning that as our right arm is forward, our right leg will also be forwards. So we need to have this good rotation capacity to get this anterior sling involved, so we can actually transfer that elastic potential forwards. So from here, all we're going to do is we're going to keep our hands in line with our shoulders, and we're going to take our one hand and we're going to thread it through the gap between our hand and our knee. So the back of the hand goes onto the floor, the elbow goes onto the floor, and the shoulder comes onto the floor. As you can see here, we're getting a lot of rotation through the spine, and the hips are staying quite level. Then we're going to come up, rotate, follow the hand with the head, and then back down. Same sort of rep range, 5 to 10 on each side. Nice and smoothly through, again following the hand with the head. Once you've done that, we can get the hip involved a little bit. So we're going to bring one leg forwards into this half kneeling position. Now as we can see here, I'm in a nice straight line through here, so we want to get as much hip extension as we possibly can. So we're going to really tuck this pelvis underneath, and we're going to push forward a little bit. So the more hip extension we can get, again, the more we're going to activate this fascial line across here when we're running, developing more power. Okay, from here all we're going to do is we're going to rotate across to the side with the knee up and back, across and back. So we're getting maximum hip extension here, maximal rotation through our spine. We can also go the other way, just for balance sake. Then we're also going to switch legs when we go to the other side. We want to be rotating, getting most of our work done in this contralateral pattern across. So we're mimicking that rotation we need for running, whilst maximising the extension through his hips. So we're going to really stretch our hip flexors, also get the obliques involved, and also some spinal mobility through our active range of movement. From the hip side of things, just make sure the hips are nice and loose. Obviously we've got this drill we've just shown you, and from a hip extension point of view, start in this half kneeling position, tuck the hips, and we're just going to drive forwards into this position here. So we're getting a lot of hip extension, actually quite a nice stretch to the ankle. If you want to extend this, bring the arms overhead to get full extension all the way through. Come back, we'll combine this with some knee work and some hamstring work just to get the most out of it. So sit back on the heel, reach right forwards, pull the toe towards the knee, push forwards again, tuck the hip as we come through, knee comes over toe, reach nice and high. Breathe out, tuck and push, and back, tuck and push. If we get to here, we're quite comfortable to get a bit of added hip flexor work on this side. We can lean across to our left, and we can also rotate slightly before we come back. They're my probably go-to exercises for spinal rotation, flexion, extension, and also incorporating the hips into that. If you've been here for the previous emails as well, you'll have found our hip and ankle drill as well, which is another brilliant exercise.